What if you have an Argentinian flag sign and a runaway rhexis in an intumescent cataract? I make a small puncture and the cataract is so intumescent that it extends almost instantaneously to the periphery, even before I can think of injecting the viscoelastic into the anterior chamber. So how will you proceed at this point? Will you convert it to an SICS or will you continue with performing phaco? Our natural impulse is try to retain the capsular bag even if this is partial and then even if there are two extension points. However, this is just not a good idea. Because of the hydrostatic force that is generated by the flow rate of around 30 cc per minute, it tends to fill the capsular bag and blow out the bag just like the wind does to the sails. This hydrostatic pressure can therefore be concentrated at the runaway points and cause the extension of the tear into the posterior capsule. The better option would be to extend these cuts, to make radial extensions. In fact, I'd like to make multiple extension points so that the hydrostatic force does not get concentrated at any given point. And more importantly, I'm converting an enclosed capsular bag into a posterior capsular membrane. And therefore, it is immune from the billowing out or the ballooning out forces of the fluid. The phacoemulsification is done by a direct chop. It's important to understand that you should be aware of the flapping pieces of anterior capsule and try to keep it away from the phaco probe. You just don't want to aspirate these flaps as it can cause the bag to dislocate. So you work with low parameters. Generally, I prefer a fluid rate of about 25 to 26 cc per minute, a vacuum of 225 to 250 millimeters of mercury, and a power suitable to the grade of the cataract. Even though you see tags of anterior capsule flapping around, it seldom gets aspirated into the port because these tags have pointed ends and they do not manage to occlude the phaco tip. So you can safely carry out the phaco chop fragmentation and careful removal of the pieces in this manner. The reason why phaco chop by the direct phaco chop method is preferable in these patients is because the lollipopping of the nucleus with high vacuum will actually lift the nuclear pieces away from the posterior capsule and will not transmit any posterior stretch forces onto the posterior capsule. Whereas a trenching or a stop and chop technique may cause a posterior stretch force on the capsule, especially if the power is inadequate to the grade of nucleus. Thankfully, in these intumescent cataracts, there's hardly any cortex, but cortical aspiration should be done with caution because the tags can occlude the 0.3 millimeter irrigation aspiration port. So it should be done in a very cautious and very careful manner. Sometimes I prefer to just use irrigation and very little aspiration for the IA procedure. Although it is best to implant a 3-piece foldable lens in the sulcus, you can also implant a single piece lens. Although you are never sure that either it is in the sulcus or it's partly in the bag of the sulcus. So at this point, you can decide if there are large flaps to fill the chamber with viscoelastic and snip away at these flaps and remove it with a Utrera forceps. If the flaps are all pushed away and tucked into the periphery, then this step is not necessary. So to sum up what I said, that if you have a Argentinian flap sign and a runaway rhexis in an intumescent cataract, Do not try to retain the capsular bag but sacrifice the capsular bag by making multiple radial cuts and converting the bag into a membrane. This will enhance your chance of success in such cases.